the child of sorrow and steel.
Forth from the ancient halls of Tara, where kings held council and druids wove their spells, there arose a tale of shadow and sorrow, of vengeance and of fate. The wind carried its whisper over the hills of Ayr, over the dark waters of the Boyne, through the forests where the old gods still walked unseen. It was the tale of Fionn mac Cumhaill, he who would stand as the mightiest of the Fianna, he whose name would outlive stone and steel. But Fionn was not born into strength. He was born into the ashes of war. There was a time when the Fianna were led by Cumhaill mac Trianmore, chief among warriors, swift in battle, strong as the roots of the mountains. His shield was broad as a chieftain's door, and his spear had drunk deep of the blood of kings. He was lord of the greenwood, protector of the high king's peace, but power breeds enemies, and none hated Cumhaill more than Goll mac Morna, he of the piercing eyes, he of the heavy hand. A shadow fell upon Cumhall's days. Tag MacNuda, druid and seer, sat upon his high hill of Almu, and he feared the rising strength of the Fianna. He had a daughter, Muirn Munham, fair-necked, bright as the dawn upon the hilltops. Cumhaill beheld her beauty and sought her hand, but Tadg, wary of the warrior, denied him. Yet the warrior's heart burns hotter than the forge, and Cumhaill, with the fire of youth in his breast, took Muirn as his own, carrying her away into the west, beyond the watchful eyes of druids and kings. Thus was his fate sealed. Tag, in wrath, rose before the high king Con Ceartahach, he whose name was Battle, he whose throne was heavy with the weight of 100 wars. "My daughter is taken," cried Tag, "and the law is broken. Shall the hand of a war chief rise against the will of the king? Shall the sword be greater than the druid's curse?" Then the high king Con, just but unyielding, cast his decree. Cumhaill was made an outlaw, and the warriors of Tara took up their spears. At Nuka, upon the green fields where the rivers run red in the setting sun, Cumhaill stood against the host of the high king. The banners of the Fianna rose, proud as the eagle in its flight, and the men of Morna came against them. Goll, towering in his fury, met Cumhaill upon the field, and the two were as storm winds upon the hilltops. The spears of their warriors broke like dry reeds, and the earth shuddered beneath their tread. But the gods had turned their faces from Cumhaill. Goll struck him down, and with his fall the Fianna were scattered, their strength broken as a tree sundered in the gale. His body was left upon the field, his warriors slain or fled, and Muirn, heavy with his child, stood alone before her father. Tag, cold as the winter sky, cast his judgment upon her. "Thou art no daughter of mine," he spoke, and his words were iron. "No blood of my house shall bear the seed of Cumhaill. The flames shall take thee, and the law shall be satisfied." But Con, though harsh, was not without mercy. "The sins of the father fall not upon the child," he decreed. "Go forth, Muirn, and let thy fate find thee, but come no more to the halls of Almu, nor speak again the name of thy house." Muirn, cast adrift, wandered far, until she came to the house of Fiaccal mac Conchin, a man of noble heart, whose wife, Bodhmall, was sister to the fallen Cumhaill. There, upon the hearth of strangers, in the quiet of the shadowed woodlands, a son was born. They called him Demna for his sure hands, his certain step, yet his fate was written, and the name of Fionn would soon be his. But the wolves of Morna still hunted, and Muirn, knowing that no child of Cumhaill would be safe while Goll ruled the Fianna, took up her newborn son and placed him in the hands of Bodhmall and Liath Luachra, warrior woman, hunter of the glens. "Take him to the wild places," Muirn spoke, her voice soft with sorrow. "Let the rivers teach him their song. Let the woods sharpen his step. Let him grow in the shadow of the hills, unseen by those who would seek his life. And when the time comes, let him rise." Then Muirn departed, her fate lost to the mists of time, and the child, last son of Cumhaill, was given to the forests of Liath Luachra. Years passed, and the boy grew, swift as the running stag, keen as the hawk upon the wind. His step made no sound upon the fallen leaves. His spear flew true to the heart of the beast. He learned the tongues of birds, the whisper of the trees. Under the watchful eyes of Bodhmall and Liath Luachra, he grew in strength and wisdom, and the fires of his father's blood stirred in his heart. But no exile lasts forever. The time came when Demna, knowing nothing of fear, walked forth from the deep woods and into the lands of kings. His name was unknown, his lineage forgotten, yet his hands bore the strength of Cumhaill, and his eyes bore the light of his mother's people. The warriors of Ayr beheld him in wonder, but the lords of men feared him, for he was a shadow of the past, a whisper of the name they had sought to forget. And so he wandered, learning the ways of the world, his name unspoken, his fate unseen, until the day he met the Salmon of Knowledge, until the day the fire in his blood was kindled, until the day he cast off the name of Demna and took his true name upon his shoulders. On that day, the Fianna would stir from their long slumber, and the earth itself would hold its breath. The rivers would carry his name upon their murmuring currents, the wind would bear it hence to the farthest hills, and the memory of the old stones would remember. On that day, the land would awaken, and once more it would whisper the name of Fionn mac Cumhaill.